Well, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to this scientific discussion on movie making.
Okay. So let's intro. We prefer intro. What's happening?
What's happening? Welcome to I Hate Your Movie.
Yep.
This is a Patreon episode, but we likely will make this a public episode because there's been some turmoil. There's been some happenings.
Okay.
Basically, we have our blind bag of doom.
Yep.
Which is our viewer suggested episodes, and we pick that out randomly.
Yep. Patreons get the exclusive opportunity to recommend films to us, and by recommend it means we have to watch it at some point.
By recommend, you mean torture.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme.
Yes.
Apart from, didn't we watch Paprika?
No, Paprika was mine.
Okay.
The one that you didn't hate, I loved, was From Beyond.
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't hate that. I think that's it. I think it was Sausage Party and Eternals.
I know Rubber is in there as well.
Rubber is in there. There's a few interesting ones. Oh, how can we forget? The Legend of Potatoes. It was in there. Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Rise of the
Foot Soldier.
Marbella. Yeah. That's a favorite, but for different reasons. So we watched a AAA title, a major release, a Disney movie, a Marvel movie. What can go wrong? Everything went wrong.
You haven't mentioned the title yet.
So we watched Eternals.
Okay, so first of all, thank you to
Adam,
who recommended this
Yeah.
film. Just off the bat, I'm looking at Dan in front of me, and he seems to have a wad of typed out printed notes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't show too much in this podcast, but normally we have very little preparation.
Yeah.
We have a spattering of notes we have on our phones, and that's about it. And Dan seems to have written some kind of dissertation.
Yeah. it's in it's in bullet points. But still,
That's bullet points.
That's bullet points.
Full paragraphs in there, man.
Well, it's like a character, and then it is like a character problems. I mean, not to spoil too much of my thoughts, but
Cool. So before Dan gets into it, my overall review of this film is, it's all right. It's okay. It's not as offensive as Dan's about to make it out to be. And I think, even though it does it badly in some ways, I think it raises a lot of interesting points.
this is my one sentence review. If this comes out as one sentence, this was to me like I'm a scientist and I discovered a new type of mold. And I had to like examine it, like what the fuck is wrong with this mold? How is it different than other molds? It's so weird. So I watched it again, and I was just furiously writing notes. Even when we first watched it, I was furiously writing notes. I was confused about stuff, and I wasn't sure that it's my fault or not film's fault. So I went back, took a true reviewer. I did the work, okay?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do as a reviewer. You're
Yeah.
supposed to watch the film, get your initial reactions, and then watch it again, making notes. And we've never done that.
Well,
So I couldn't do it.
no, we
could
don't
not do
we
it.
don't have enough time for that. So like
Just some of these films that we watch, I would not watch them again if you paid me £1
Suspiria.
million. Yeah.
speaking of Suspiria, that's a good jump off point.
Yeah.
So I introduced a lot of your worst movies on this podcast.
Yep.
Suspiria,
We've got top 3.
Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall,
Chopping
that's
Mall.
one as well.
Yeah.
I did put the Neil Breen in there as well.
I do have two categories for bad movies. I have big budget and low budget because I feel like they're so different, you know? Like a low budget, they might try something big and then fail miserably. But I appreciate that. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if a couple of friends try to remake Star Wars, that could come off as charming if they try hard enough, you know?
Mhm.
That's like an extreme example of that. And then there's like high budget bad movies, which is, I think the first one is Attack of the Clones. Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
Close second, Eternals. I could not believe how bad this movie was.
Okay.
It's just, and I'm very curious about your thinking because I think it's full of things that usually bug you, like a lot. Like things that I usually wave away because there's one or two each movie. If the experience is overall fine, I don't care that much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like movie logic weirdness in this.
I think the majority of this discussion is going to be me understanding like the dynamics of it
Okay.
in my way, and you not.
I have my own kind of layers to this.
Yeah?
I want to start with technical issues.
Technical issues.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just talked about it off podcast as well. I got a new TV.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, old TV. We watched so many good things on there.
Mm,
Suspiria. Fateful Findings or whatever it's called.
yeah.
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide.
All the good stuff. Really good stuff. Rest in peace. I got a new TV. I had a couple of days of testing it, but I didn't know that much testing need to be done.
Like 2 weeks worth of testing.
Yeah, I needed 2 weeks worth of testing because there was so many hidden kind of options and things that I didn't even know existed.
So the TV was going in and out.
The brightness was an issue.
It's constantly changing.
Constantly
And It
changing.
was too dark when it was too dark,
Yeah.
and it was too bright when it was too bright, and
Yeah.
we had to keep stopping the film to try and fix it.
And I genuinely didn't see some of scenes because it was so
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
That's also a big reason why I rewatched it. But I tried to find out like what's wrong, what happened. And there's people online also complaining that this movie is too dark. And you watched it at home and you say it's not too dark.
No, it's not.
Ugly, dark color grading. There's like a grey filter on everything.
Disagree.
It's awful looking. And I watched it on many screens. I watched it on my laptop. I watched it a little bit on my phone. It doesn't look as dark as when we watched it on TV, that's for sure. It just looks ugly, brown, grey. Especially the night scenes, really bad.
I disagree. I think when they're indoors and it's dark, or when they're in a cave, I didn't get the dark thing when I watched it originally. But I think the flip side of that is, or maybe they were using that kind of darkness to make the day scenes more brighter, because there are some really like beautiful shots of when they're, you know, standing out in the desert, and behind them there's this whole, you know, scenery, and it looks beautiful.
The day scenes look really good.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm extra confused of what happened. But whatever. I want to start off with some good stuff. Stuff that I liked.
Yeah.
There's not many. But, you know, in fairness,
Are your notes in order? Are they in chronological order, or are they
No.
just okay?
because I don't give a shit. Because if we discuss this movie in a chronological order, we can't do a scientific examination on it.
Okay.
That's why the order is such. I would say the action was pretty good.
Okay.
It's competently filmed. I like some of the costumes, but some of them were a bit too busy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Icarus's gold and blue,
Yeah.
but then a flip side of that, Cersei's green and silver doesn't really work for me. But some of them really stand out as a really comic booky as well.
Yeah.
And then the flying effects were very well done.
Okay.
And these are all the good stuff I could think of.
I think movie studios have got flying down at this point.
They've probably done like a mix of wires and CGI
Mhm.
because it was very seamless. And I usually notice this stuff when Icarus is like walking and then he starts flying off all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, it's just very well done.
By the way,
Yes.
flying.
Yeah.
It's always bugged me in films, especially superhero films. The way people fly. How uncomfortable would it be to constantly be lying on your front, looking up? I think that'd give you a real bad neck ache.
It does, but doesn't that increase the speed though?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you're more
Aerodynamic.
aerodynamic, yeah.
I still wouldn't. I would still just fly forwards as if I was standing up.
Yeah, fair enough. And there's a lot of that in this movie.
Mm.
That's cool. Well, let's get into characters.
Characters.
Or how I like to call them, a bunch of cold, distant weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Suddenly I don't want to do this. Suddenly I don't want to relive this. Let's start with Icarus, the leader of Eternals.
I don't think he looked or acted heroic enough to be the leader.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was menacing enough to be the bad guy.
I think he tried to be stoic,
Yeah.
like Captain America or Black Panther, and he kind of just failed, like acting-wise. It just didn't come across.
I got more of like an old school Superman vibe. Like, but when he's Superman, not when he's Clark Kent.
Old school Superman is likable. And this guy was the biggest weirdo.
He's weirdo.
Yeah, okay. The very first scene made me laugh. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
I'm Icarus.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I'm Icarus. Yeah.
great.
They're robots that have just woken up. Of course they're not going to be great at speaking yet.
Okay. Well, he's like that throughout the whole movie, pretty much. He has like something over his eyes, which just gone. And that's not in a good way, where he's like, oh, he's not the guy we used to know. He's never been that guy. He's always like somewhere else.
I think the biggest thing that confuses me about Icarus is his relationship with Cersei.
Oh my god.
That you never see.
Yeah.
They just meet, and then that's supposed to imply that they're madly in love.
They do some mud pies together.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he follows her into the bit. But yeah, like you needed a lot more out of him from that. A lot more like affection and longing, and you don't really get that vibe at all.
That's kind of the struggle in this film, I feel like, which is it's kind of like the Batman v Superman problem, which is you want to make like god illusions with these people, but at the same time you want them to be relatable because they're your characters and you should like them, and it just doesn't work.
Yep. Cool. Next character.
Well, hold on, whoa. We're in the first paragraph still. There's bad aliens in this movie called the Deviants.
Yep.
I call them the Spookies.
Why?
I call them the Spookies over my notes because Deviant makes me think of Harvey Weinstein. It's like a sexual deviant. Spookies is much better.
It's just now I can't stop imagining. You know when like the first deviant comes out of the canal in London, it's a big Harvey Weinstein coming out of the sewer.
He's a big spooky.
The deviants are back.
The deviants are back. No, he's coming with his walker, but the one we went to trial with. All these guards have to beat up an old frail man.
What was the film we watched recently where that was the goal? Oh yeah, it was
Serenity. Serenity, yeah. It's going to be like that.
Yeah, it's going to be like that. This is old, drunk, enfeebled man.
Yeah.
They have to throw off a boat.
And then they have to kill Kevin Spacey. All the sexual deviants. Biggest question, Icarus.
Yep.
Why doesn't he ally with the Spookies? Because the Spookies, a first attempt made by what are they called? Galactus?
Oh yeah.
Amersham. The Eternals were made by Celestials. The Spookies were a first attempt at a creature by the Celestials to inhabit the Earth and went rogue.
Yep.
And they're kind of like brutish, kind of animalistic creatures.
Yep.
But in this, they gain some sort of intellect. Why doesn't Icarus ally with the Spookies?
Because the Spookies want the opposite of what Icarus wants.
He could twist them into that.
No.
Yeah. But the same point you're making won't make sense by the end either. I make the same point whether Icarus should ally with the Spookies or the other guys should ally with the Spookies. Someone should have allied with the Spookies.
Yeah.
No one allies with the Spookies. They're just a big distraction at the end.
It's completely pointless having them in. I just do not understand why you go through so many versions of a script and still keep them in all the time, because you don't need them.
Yeah.
The conflict comes from inside the Eternals.
Yeah.
And
it's basically Justice League versus Superman.
yeah.
And that would have been cool.
Even if you use them as a tool to gather up the Eternals, because that's what it starts out of.
Yeah.
There is no point of that spooky growing sentience and then having an understanding of what's going on. It's just, like you say, it's just distracting.
Yeah. It gets worse by the end. So he's a secret baddie, Icarus. He has so many options. He has so many chances to stop whatever's happening. So basically all the Eternals, they gather up the rest of the Eternals. Oh, we're getting back together after 2,000 years or whatever. We're going to create this thing called the Unimind, and we're going to stop the Emergence, which is another Celestial coming out of the Earth.
Yeah.
He has like 100 different chances to stop that happening, and he just goes along with everything. I wrote it down. So basically, there's a moment where Kingu and Sprite, the other Eternals, they prop him up, and there's like a big fight among all the Eternals. And then they prop him up. It's like, no, he's right. And I feel like that was the point. He should have turned. But then after that is like a 15-minute flashback scene that when he's revealed to be a real baddie, when he kills previous leader Ajak. And then we have like a sad conversation with Cersei. And then he turns on them. He could have argued against gathering up all the Eternals.
Yep.
He could have stopped all the Unimind talk somehow, or just interjected somehow. You know, he could have secretly killed the technical guy who makes all the tools. All this could have been so much shorter.
So I think the idea is that he thinks it's too late and the Earth is going to crumble. And the only reason they get together isn't because of the end of the world. It's because the deviants show up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they start getting back together. And it's not to stop the emergence, it's to stop the deviants, which is what he wants to do. He wants to stop the deviants because they're trying to stop the emergence. He kills Ajak
Yeah.
when the emergence is about 2 weeks away.
Yes.
And then 6 days later, they find her body. The deviant attack happens. So he thinks, oh, it's too late. They've only got 8 days left. We'll spend our 8 days running around killing these deviants, and then the emergence will happen anyway.
That's one way of looking at it.
What other way is there?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if the movie would give us any clues of how he's thinking. There's none of that.
I think there is a few lines in the film where they say, well, it's too late. Oh, it's too late now. I think he even says that when he gets revealed as a bad guy.
Okay, sure. What is his motivation? Is he just a loyal underling to the point of being maybe suicidal? Potentially. Is he just a pawn? Is he just a boring guy?
The whole theme of the movie, I find, is the kind of the greater good. Where is the line in the greater good? Do you sacrifice yourself so billions of things can live?
Mm-hmm.
The answer to that is yes, you would sacrifice yourself so billions of people can live. Then what's the difference between that and sacrificing someone else so a billion people can live? And then from there, what's the difference between sacrificing 1 million people so 1 billion people can live? And he makes the choice that, yeah, he's happy for him to sacrifice himself and his team so that new planets can be born.
What would have been great if he actually argued for that?
But did you not just...
I'd got that.
Yeah, but you got it. But you're like the champion of show don't tell. You're the one that says, okay, well...
They do spell it out, just not him, Icarus.
Okay.
He should have been the one when they were all arguing amongst each other. I think Sprite says things like that. But letting humanity die, but there's going to be 1,000 other planets because of this celestial. So why not? He should have been arguing for that. But he just stands there like a fucking muppet. The next character.
God, how many characters are there?
1 million.
There's like 10 characters, right?
It goes over to page 2. Cersei.
Yep.
Why is she attracted to people with no charisma? With minus charisma somehow.
Jon Snow's got charisma.
Oh my god. I don't know if it was him or the editing. It was so awkward. And Icarus comes and saves the day. It's like, I guess you're the pilot. And there's like a 5-second like quiet nothing after that.
Super exaggeration.
Okay.
Super exaggeration.
Okay, maybe 5 seconds is. But like there's like a beat too long.
Okay.
No, just cut away from that quickly. And then like no one says anything, no one addresses it. They just like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because it's an awkward situation. He's running to his ex and no one wants to talk about it.
Oh my god.
Nothing about that felt weird to me at all.
Oh my god. Both Jon Snow and the other one, Icarus, they were like so wooden and so boring. It's incredible.
It's just awkward situation between a guy, his girlfriend, and her ex. That's all. That's the point of it, to make it like a human situation. He's standing in front of gods, and he's making it a human situation.
I think it needs to be contrasted with genuine moments.
Okay.
There's no chemistry between Cersei and Jon Snow.
No, I will give you that. That whole situation feels like he's been friend-zoned like a while ago.
My biggest thing with Cersei is that her powers are not defined, and it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So she can turn materials into different materials. And then in this kind of introductory scene, she turns a double-decker bus into rose petals.
Yep.
And then later on, she turns a spooky into a tree. She's like, how did I do that?
Yeah.
Like,
because it mentions very early in the films that she can't change organic matter.
does it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you that. I don't remember.
You've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice. I don't remember, and I watched it very carefully.
Yeah.
I'll believe you, okay? It should have been more clear. Anyway.
It should be more clear, especially because that's what confused me about it. It says that she can't change organic matter, but then she turns a bus into rose petals. So she changes a bus to organic matter.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense. And the only justification I have in my brain is like she turns it into fake rose petals.
Yeah, maybe it's like Valentine's.
Yeah.
Rose petals. We kind of covered Jon Snow. He's my next character.
Okay.
Too nonchalant about his girlfriend being an eternal god.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that about a lot of characters, but they act very weird. Especially the side characters. They don't act like anything's a big deal. I get that this is like in the Marvel universe. I get that. And there's weird shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I felt like on the tiny human level, I think it would be comparable to us and celebrities. You maybe see Iron Man flying around once or twice, and that's your whole life experience with if we lived in that world.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a bit too like cool and nonchalant about it.
He was, but I think the teaser at the end shows you a little bit about him and kind of another freaking end Marvel credits scene that never goes anywhere, never will go anywhere. And he's got some kind of dark sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it makes sense that he's used to this weird shit. But Kingu's valet,
Yeah.
he's very kind of like...
I could
fine
go
with
even
everything.
lower, and that's on my miscellaneous notes, but I remember it. At the very first scene with the Eternals, when they come to like prehistory, and there's like people around, and they're like, look out for that spooky, it's gonna attack you. And they're like, what? And then they don't really react to the spookies very much.
But they're very scared of them.
They're very scared of them, they don't run away. And then the second one is like, there's 100 meters away, there's like a giant fucking alien spaceship comes out of water, and everybody just stands there like, oh yeah, whoa.
Yeah, because they don't have the intelligence yet to perceive what they're looking at.
If big things comes out of water, you fucking run. Either you're animal or you're human, you fucking run. It's just that everyone's a bit weird and reacting a bit weird.
Okay.
I'm Icarus.
Next character. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is one of my most headache-inducing ones. Sprite.
Okay.
Did you not sense her whole story was fucking bullshit? So, okay. Let me explain this. She's an eternal, she lives eternally, but she's trapped in a young girl's body.
Yep.
But she can change her appearance.
Nope.
She can change her appearance.
She
does.
she can change her appearance, but people can't touch that appearance.
Okay.
Happens very early on in the thing.
Yeah,
when she's at the
yeah.
bar.
I think that's just bullshit. For all for all intents and purposes, would you consider her a child or just a person trapped in a child's body? Basically, almost like a Benjamin Button kind of guy. Would you consider her a child or not?
Yeah, she's an adult in a child's body.
Yeah. So does it fucking matter? Because what she cares about is being seen outside. Like if she goes out with Icarus, they're gonna think he's a weirdo, he's a pedophile.
Right.
She can change her appearance, and then privately they can do whatever fuck they want because she's an adult. I'm calling bullshit.
No.
Yeah.
She's in love with Icarus, but her whole thing is that she's trapped on Earth as a child, and everybody else has made lives of themselves. It's not all about Icarus. It's about her life.
I get that. But she can make her life.
She can't make her
She
life.
can change her appearance.
But she can't be touched in that appearance. She can't have an adult relationship with
She can.
anyone.
She can.
She can't because she can't touch them.
She can. You sit them down.
Right.
Like with Jon Snow and Cersei, like a scene ago. You have your little dates or whatever with no
Right.
touching. It's all cool.
No. There's too much in between that. You like hold hands and kiss way before you would be able to reveal the fact, actually, I'm eternal and I look 15 or 14 or whatever. That's not a first or second date kind of thing.
She's 7,000 years old. She can make it work. You can make it work.
No.
You can say she can forge papers, maybe,
Okay.
or whatever. She's old. She can do lots of stuff,
Right.
and she has resources and networks and whatever.
But she can't be herself in the world.
She can forge papers that she's older.
She can't walk down the street with her adult boyfriend.
Yeah, holding
and
hands.
They can't be in a restaurant kissing. You know, they can't. She can't be herself.
She can be herself in private, and then
But that's
In-
not a life.
in not private, she can put up an appearance.
But that's not being herself. That's the point.
That's better than what she has right now. I feel like she's cries so much, and it's like it's manageable. It's totally a manageable problem. Oh no, I can't kiss my girlfriend on public. I'll kiss her at home. It's fine.
Yeah, you're completely missing the point.
I'm not.
You are.
It's pointless.
She can't be herself whenever she wants to be. That's the problem. And she can't.
But it's so minuscule.
It's not minuscule.
It is minuscule.
You can't be yourself. Come on, that's not a minuscule thing.
I just feel like there's ways around it. The ones that I said. Say that you have a disease,
but,
They
yeah, but
can't,
again,
can't grow up.
you can't say to everyone in every restaurant you ever go in or any club you
That's
ever
what
go
the
in.
illusions are for. And then you don't kiss your boyfriend in.
But again, you've just skipped over this. She can't be herself part. That's what the illusions are for. She can pretend to be someone else. She doesn't want to pretend to be someone else. She wants to be herself. That's the curse of her powers. That's the point of the character, is that she has the ability to project all of these things, but she doesn't want to.
I just feel like the problem is so minuscule. It's like any kind of human problem any of us have, and we just get on with our lives. You not looking like 15-year-old in public and kissing adult people is not the biggest problem in the world. You can adjust.
No,
Not to the point of killing a fucking planet, going along with the baddie.
It's one of those things that you probably could make the best of it,
Yeah.
which she doesn't.
Yeah.
But making the best of it is still not good. You go to the top of the Empire State Building, you can't have that photo of like kissing with the background of New York. You can't go to the top of the Eiffel Tower and, have those moments that everybody else in the world has, and have those moments that if you look around you, everybody else is having.
Would you agree with me that she could make most of it, though? She could go around with a lot of it. And compared to that, it feels like all the constant whining is so annoying.
No, I don't, because one thing to just be an eternal and then just stop growing up at some point, or however it is they came to be, or however it is they think they came to be. And that's kind of like, my luck's down on this one, now I'm this. But to find out that she got made that way and her entire 7,000 year existence has been made worse because the person who designed her did it without even considering her life, that's why she goes against humanity and the earth. So we agree to disagree on that one entirely.
I guess we do. What can you do? Next one is Fastos. And
Which one was faster?
confusingly, Fastos is not the fast one. But his name is Fastos.
Is he the strong one?
No,
The
he's
punchy one?
he's the techno one.
Okay, yeah.
What I liked about him, he has a big belly, and everyone's like very muscular. He has like a big, nice belly. Oh my god, he's annoying as well. He can like summon technology and kind of make stuff. The movie kind of suggests that he invented a lot of the bigger breakthroughs of humanity. Yet he keeps saying that humanity has a lot of potential. And at the same time, like 2 seconds later, they say they're slow in their development.
Yeah.
So which is it? Because you're doing everything. You're doing all the major breakthroughs.
He's doing some of the major breakthroughs. He's pushing them along.
Yeah.
Again, this seems really obvious to me. Like, it really does seem like... Because there's a whole scene where he invents something way above its time.
Yeah.
And...
Engine.
Yeah,
in
the steam engine.
Babylonian times.
Yeah. And she's like, no, that's not ready. They're not ready for that yet. So I think the idea is to build the technology slowly up over time. I think they've got a timeline in their mind of when certain things should be invented, what the progression of technology should be, and when can the human race handle the technology that is given.
When's the potential coming? Because they keep saying that they have a lot of potential, and at the same time they keep whinging that they're too slow. So
the potential is that they will get to a point when they can handle certain technologies.
In that same scene where he invents the engine,
yep,
it's like, oh, they're too slow. He invents the plow, and then he shit talks the plow. Fucking asshole. A plow is an amazing invention.
Not to them. They're in a
but
they're in a freaking spaceship, man. You're playing a computer game.
Yeah.
You know? Say you're playing a survival game and you've started off, your little wooden shack.
Yeah.
And then you built all the way up to space stations and you get one of the loot drops in the game. Open it up, it's a plow. Fucking plow, man. I don't want a fucking plow. You joking me? I'm flying around in spaceships, mate. I don't want a plow. Throw it in the bin.
They should understand that these things build upon each other. I've got small history problems later on. It's just like extremely nitpicky and annoying. But that one pissed me off. I was like, don't shit talk the plow. You fucking asshole. I like when he's doing his technology. You know when in Iron Man, when he's interacting with like a hologram thing,
Yeah.
he kind of does those hand motions. And there's a lot of that in this movie. I just want to see like 2 hours or 5 hours of footage of that guy sitting without visuals and just doing his hand things. And how many times he cracks up at himself. Just, this is silly, isn't it? Athena, space dementia.
Yep. Is that it?
It does get less and less. because I was more upset about Icarus and Sprite. So she has space dementia because the Celestials keep making the Eternals for different planets, and their memories are supposed to be erased.
Sorry.
I agree. Hers accidentally didn't get erased. So she's got like a Medvery, they call it, which is like this space dementia.
Yeah.
Space Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I found the name Mad Weary bizarre.
Yeah. Where did they get that?
Yeah, right?
Feels like folksy.
Hmm.
Anyway,
So she gets Mad Weary.
she gets Medvery, and I felt like it was a weird opportunity not to mix that together with the main story, because what they do is they start kind of an investigation through her illness, and then they just stop, and then they just explain what actually happens, that they're robots. Okay, what does she remember? What does she... And like 2 minutes later, Emersham picks out Cersei and is like, well, actually, you're a robot, and you're supposed to witness the destruction of this world. But you could have just continued the space dementia storyline and just explored that more, and then you don't have big bad guy to explain to you what's the bad story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that also gives your main characters some sort of agency.
Yep.
That they're like working for something, and then they gain information and they earn that information. It just happens.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. In the story, the Spookies attack...
I like that. You took on my language.
The Spookies attack Athena, but you don't see that.
Yeah.
All the rest of the Eternals just rock up and they were like, oh, look, there's a dead thing over there. But you couldn't have had, like, the Spooky stabs one of them in the chest. Oh my God, we're actually robots. Oh, if she's a robot and she's going mad, how is that the case? Let's investigate that. Inventor guy. Just, you've invented a machine to read her memories. Oh my God, there's all these old memories of planets being destroyed. Holy shit. Let's stop that.
Oh my God. They finally agree on something.
Yeah, that would have made so much more sense.
It would have been, and it's so much cleaner and nicer, and you feel like you relate to something because you went along with the journey with them.
Yep.
Complete missed opportunity, and it was very jarring because it literally, the Athena storyline gets interrupted by Amersham just picking us and just explains it because let's just explain it, whatever. So when we found out she has Medvery, that's also the first scene we really see her and we get to hear about her, and then she has this really emotional cry that she doesn't want to lose her 7,000-year-old memories. But it's literally the first time we hear from her, so it wasn't very impactful for me.
Okay.
I just met this character. Next character is Druig. He is
Oh, I like Drew. By the way, Barry Keoghan.
Keegan.
Barry Keoghan, by the way, completely wasted in this film. What a fucking waste of talent.
Totally.
Oh my God. Barry Keoghan is just amazing in pretty much everything that he does.
Yeah. You know, I've seen an article, Barry Keoghan and the rise of the rat-faced.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Rat-faced celebrity. I was like, fuck you. He's not Brad Pitt, but it's fine. He's fine looking.
Okay.
I don't have much to say about him.
He's fantastic in everything that he does.
He's really good. Just wrote down what a creepy weirdo. But a character, not Barry Keoghan.
Okay.
I guess kudos for the movie for not making him the bad guy.
Yep.
Because I thought it was really obvious that's where he's going. Because he's the mind control people. He goes rogue for a few times here and there. It's like, oh, only if we could stop humanity. And I thought they're really gonna turn him into one of the main bad guys. But no, they just don't.
No.
And that's, I guess, kudos for that restraint. I have one half a sentence for Ajak. Had too many cigarettes. She has a really raspy, cigarette-y voice.
Salma Hayek's voice.
Is that Salma Hayek? Oh my God.
What do you mean is that Salma Hayek?
She's gone old.
Jesus Christ. Did you really not know that was Salma Hayek?
I'm Ajak. Give me some more cigarettes. For graciously, there was a funny voice with like some crackhead.
It's fucking...
Go fiver, mate. I just want to buy some cigarettes. There's Makari, the real Fastos.
Okay. There's this really funny bit in this when she's talking. It's kind of like a meme, but it was more like a comment because she signs in the film.
Yeah, she's mute.
She's mute in the film. And there's a bit where she's telling these people in Babylonian times that actually you're late, you've missed the time. And she points at her wrist.
Wow. I didn't catch that. That's cool. She's probably using American Sign Language.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't notice that bit. Oh my god. I feel like she was a very wasted character. Felt like put in representation, but at the same time burying her so deep into the story that she has no point whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's some funny bits where people just don't explain things to her and they just talk amongst themselves. And then that concludes in a bit where she doesn't realize Icarus is bad. And she comes in the middle of the fight. And then she's like, oh, hello, Icarus. And it's like, get the fuck out. Because they just didn't explain anything to her. It's really annoying. What's the point of her being a thief?
A thief? When is she a thief?
Her whole character, I guess, is that she steals things.
No.
Yeah.
No, she trades.
No, in the beginning, she wants that, like, emerald stone tablet.
Yeah,
and
she's
she's
trying
like,
to trade for it.
yeah, but she trades something else, but she stole that something.
Did she?
And then later on, Drury calls her out. Oh, I'm not gonna tell what happened to those ancient artifacts. So yeah, she's a thief.
I don't think she's a thief. She's taking things out of history and she's not allowed to. That's what she's not allowed to do, not that she's a thief.
I feel like the line is very blurry there. I was like, where's the grave robbing started? Where does the collecting? Oh, I'm just collecting.
It's the eternal struggle of the British History Museum.
Yeah. Oh my god. So, okay. Either way, collector or grave robber. What's the point of that? It doesn't do anything for the story at any point whatsoever.
Everybody needs a thing. I mean, there's too many characters. I've never read the Eternals as a comic, and I don't know how many characters there are. But if there's this many, you know, and you've stayed true to that, then, you know, fair play.
I feel like it's probably like the story is stretched out longer, probably.
Yeah.
Next one is Kingu.
Kingu.
He's the guy I look forward to the most.
Yeah.
Because I like Kumail Nanjiani. I'm an original Kumail Nanjiani stan because I liked him before it was cool. He was a regular on the Harmontown podcast before he made his big movies like The Big Sick.
Okay.
I thought it was always a really funny guy. So I was really looking forward to him in this movie. Everything he says falls flat. Everything.
I find him very funny.
I find the guy very funny. I think it must be the editing then, because just everything he says just falls completely flat for me.
Okay.
It's a weird word stuff. It's like, did he go to India because he already kind of looks Indian Pakistani? He's Pakistani.
Mm-hmm.
The Celestials make these like very diverse group of humans. Is that so that they are in different places, or they only fit in different places?
Yeah, what if they made one of them like green? and
Yeah.
and they were like, oh shit, evolution didn't happen that way. No, they're green humans.
Yeah. One major problem in this movie is that somehow, and this is an achievement, that this movie made Bollywood look boring.
Fuck you talking about? It's a massive dance scene.
There's a massive, boring, slow dance scene. You know how in Bollywood...
Okay, so no.
Yeah.
It is neither slow nor boring.
It is
It's not
boring.
slow at all.
It is super slow.
It's not
For
slow.
Bollywood standards, it is slow. Have you ever seen one of those? It's fucking crazy. They throw so many things at the camera and they like have so much motion and they like wiggle their shoulders a little bit.
Okay, but he's got lots of backup dancers to do lots of things.
Yeah, it felt too slow.
Fucking hell.
It needed to be crazier.
When in the all-time top 100 nitpicky things that have ever been said in this podcast by either of us,
Yeah.
the fact that the Bollywood dance was too slow is number one. It has to be, because oh no, I need more pace in my background dancers.
First of all, there's going to be way more nitpicky things coming up.
I doubt it.
But yeah, in contrast to the whole fucking movie that's already fucking slow and everyone talks like a fucking robot. Yeah, have some life, have some fucking energy. But no, still, it's the same kind of, it's just slow and drudging and boring and not fun.
Disagree.
Okay. Let's talk about the biggest thing with Kingu. He just disappears by the end of the movie.
Cool. All right, so this is the number one thing I like about the movie.
Oh my god. I love when major characters disappear from the plot and the story.
He abstains from the plot.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I find with Marvel, and there's quite a few these days, not so much before, major problem I find is that people swap allegiances too quickly. they're all good friends, and then you've got civil war and everyone fights each other. And no one thinks twice about any of that, really. They're just like, I'm on this side, you're on that side, right, let's punch it out in an airport. Good guys, bad guys, black and white, done. Kingu, he does not want to fight his friends. He has an opinion on the outcome. He is on Icarus's side, but he does not want to kill his friends. He does not want to kill his family. So he bows out of the fight.
I come from this from not a Marvel kind of perspective, but a script writing perspective, that you built up this character and then he just disappears from the movie. Fighting is not the only thing he could have done. He could have stayed around and tried to patch things up.
No, it's too late by then. Because by then Icarus has already said, I will kill each and every one of you for this to happen.
But if he doesn't like his family to be murdered, maybe he should take a side.
No, because he wants the big guy to come out. I think it's an incredibly interesting way to do it. It's something that no kind of superhero film or even any film about like action film, like good or bad, no one ever stops.
These are not those kind of movies. It kind of needs to be simple for it to work. Because if you start to question too many things, it's gonna be like an indie film where we start to philosophize about everything.
I think it could have done it better, but I think this film really does raise a lot of interesting questions. And this is the biggest one. This is the one that I like the most. It's unique, and I think it's thought-provoking.
I feel like he should have still done something in the background.
But he can't. If you're not trying to stop the Emergence, and if you're not trying to stop the Eternals, those are your two options.
I don't know, that's what screenwriters are for. I'm not on like a podcast on the fly thing. I'm sure I could think of something. Anything, observing, commenting on anything.
Observing? What, he's going to go watch his family die? Or he's going to go
He's going to react to things. He's going to react to things with the audience. That's my off-the-cuff answer.
Okay.
When he disappears, when he says, I'm out, he doesn't like give a speech or anything. He says, for this moral reasons, I'm out. He does not...
When he leaves, he says, like, I don't want to fight you guys.
He just, I can't do this. And he just leaves. That's it.
He explains why he's leaving and he leaves. What more do you want?
I want my time not to be wasted. Watch these characters built up and then they do nothing. They disappear from the fucking movie.
There's enough characters in the end.
That's my time wasted. He shouldn't been here.
Yeah, he should, because that's the point. You see every side of the argument. And sometimes the side of the argument is walking away.
Walk away, but let's see him do something.
Okay, well, do something.
Do something.
Do something.
You can't just fucking build up a character and then have him disappear.
Yeah, you can.
The screenwriting
it's unique
101.
and it's interesting. You just want to see him sitting on a bus.
Yeah, he's
walking away from, like getting on a bus away from the. You want to see a giant hand coming out of the ground from behind him.
Yeah,
and he's just like, oh, looking through the newspaper. Oh, sports is on.
He waits for the bus from the spooky that comes out of the ground. He goes in. He holds the handrails, and he just is all remorseful and everything about it. And he's still thinking.
Right.
And he goes back to Bollywood, and is like, it's not the same because, things about to die. And we're done with the characters.
Okay. How long have we recorded so far? I feel like
hour and a half.
Normally we're getting to the end about now. How much more notes have you got?
We're halfway there.
Oh, Do you have anything about the end of Babylon when he stops people invading with guns?
Well, it can't be Babylon because they have guns. So that's 1580. Let's talk about that scene because that's a fucking weird scene.
That's a great scene.
That's a weird fucking...
It's a fantastic
weird,
scene.
shitty
Again,
scene.
Completely questions like their role in the world.
So that's the same scene where Athena has her space dimension moment.
Yeah. It's a weird mix.
That's why it's weird.
Yeah.
Because they like talk about that she has her crying emotional moment, and then all of a sudden the scene becomes something else.
Yeah.
About like controlling people. And like I remember I wrote down, what the fuck is this scene? Like it's just so scatterbrained.
I thought that scene was amazing. I thought he really questions what human beings are doing to each other. So there's like invading people with guns, shooting like unarmed people with sticks.
They say it's a genocide.
Yeah. So he stops the whole thing and he gets everyone to just walk away.
Yeah.
Especially for a Marvel film. You know, you don't get that questioning of history. that's what I enjoy about this film. You know, when I said at the start, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay because it's really important questions wrapped up in just a bad film.
Yeah. On contrary to that, there's another scene where they don't question and they should question what they're doing. It is actually Babylonian times. And its sprite is showing, oh, Gilgamesh has done this thing. She's violating the prime directive of Star Trek. She's like making them gods and myths. Like, don't do that. The fuck you doing? They should have questioned that.
Yeah.
Beverly, the prime directive is not just a set of rules. It is a philosophy, and a very correct one. History has proved again and again that whenever mankind interferes with a less developed civilization, no matter how well-intentioned that interference may be, the results are invariably disastrous.
Let's talk about exposition. My favorite. So, we get to learn who the Eternals are 3 times in this movie. We get to learn who the Eternals are in the opening text scroll.
Yep.
And then a few minutes later, we get to learn who the Eternals are when Cersei tells Jon Snow who the Eternals are. And then, like half an hour later, because we forgot or something, it's when they meet Thena again. They explain who the Eternals are again. So why are they explaining it 3 times?
I don't know.
Thank you. I think you'll be interested in this conversation.
Okay.
So let's liven it up. What do you think about the Thanos situation?
The Thanos situation.
Yeah, so because this takes place in the MCU, Jon Snow, very rightly, asks, where the fuck were you? When Thanos came.
Yep.
Well, we can't interfere with everything. How the fucking universe died? What the fuck do you mean? And your whole mission is to let Earth be populated by
They don't
humans.
know that yet, though.
2 of them at least know that. We can't interfere with everything. It's like the biggest thing ever. How can you not interfere? It would have been better if they said we were there.
Okay.
And they come out the little portals. I thought that would really bug you.
No.
I don't know how.
Because they've spent millennia being out of the fight and staying hidden. Their time frames aren't the same as everyone else's. If half the human population died in the universe, 100 years, 1,000 years, it'll be back to where it was. That's nothing to them.
It's weird coming from especially Cersei, who's like, oh no, a student. Let me defend her.
Let me destroy this priceless artifact.
I thought she's teaching history. My thinking was how boring it would be to live through the whole history and teaching history, and you know all these things are wrong. Because we are wrong with a lot of history, you know?
Yeah.
I called this movie with bloody murder because I'm pretty sure no one read the script, including the screenwriter somehow. Because there's so many obvious mistakes. Kind of mistakes where you're like, you read it again and you take that out. It's amazing. I couldn't believe how many of these were in that movie.
Go on. Quick fire.
Quickfire.
Go.
I had to go back 3 times to hear this, but Emersham, the Celestial,
Yep.
Emersham created the Spookies to kill predators on planets for intelligent life to develop.
Yep.
So slow down evolution to create evolution.
No. You pick a life form, the most intelligent life form. You know, we'll just use humans as an example. You put them in Africa,
Yeah.
as we were. There's lions everywhere, man. Lions are killing all the humans. It's slowing down the humans. So you create something to kill the lions. And then you got more humans. But oh no, the spooky has gone rogue. Now they're killing the humans as well.
When there's like lots of predators, evolution speeds up. It's debatable if it creates intelligence. But evolution does speed up, and like when there's lots of predators around. So it just felt like a weird line.
That makes sense to me.
Icarus says to Cersei, you loved these people the moment you arrived. When?
When she gave them the dagger.
Alright, well, I'm not even gonna give them fucking
First thing the Eternals did when they got
Yeah.
to Earth is she walked up to them and gave them like a gold dagger
Okay.
to help them with their stabbing.
You know what, I'll accept that because it's funny. When they're fighting Icarus, why not start with the power dampening technology? Why is it the last thing that they try?
Good question.
Yeah. There's a quote. The Celestials imbued us with infinite cosmic energy to never die. So we must have these bracelets to stop that process and give us more energy. It's literally what they say.
Don't stop the process.
That's what Faustus says. Is like the Celestials gave us infinite cosmic energy, and we must stop this process to get more energy, to more powerful somehow.
No.
That's what he says.
The idea is that the power bracelets
Yeah.
dampens the power of 6 of them, and then all of that power would go to one of them.
Okay. Awfully described. So they do this Unimind thing where they all...
Terrible name, by the way.
Oh, that's not just the least of the problems.
That feels like something that's in the comics. That, yeah, because even they make fun of it.
Yeah.
Something like they call it a brainstorm. And it's called a Unimind.
Let's just do it and talk about marketing later. So the Unimind thing is they connect their power through the bracelets. Some of them don't even put on the bracelets.
Yep.
Yet they join in the Unimind.
Yep.
Why?
Because that's also described in the film.
What? When? What?
So when it's described that they don't die during the emergence, it's revealed that they use the power of the emerging celestial to survive.
Yeah.
So they all connect at that point.
But they need the bracelets.
No, because that's what they find out. They find out they don't need the bracelets because they all get connected.
So it's just coincidentally they get connected. They come up with this technology of the bracelets that all connects them, and like 5 minutes later, they completely coincidentally they get connected anyway.
Yeah.
Great. This is a fun one.
Go on.
Batman and Superman comics exist in the Marvel universe now thanks to this movie.
Yeah, I found that weird.
How does that work?
There's comics in this movie.
Because like in Watchmen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's existing heroes already in Watchmen, and there's a comic within a comic. The world that Alan Moore imagined is that. So superhero comics must not be very popular then, because there are already superheroes.
Okay.
So he imagined that like kind of pirate and kind of crime comics took on in that world. If Superman actually existed, then that must have influenced like Captain America's designs and that kind of stuff. A superhero can't come from two different completely isolated sources, or the idea of a superhero.
It's just, yeah, I mean, there's comics about everything in the world we live in now. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find a comic about Kim Kardashian if you look hard enough.
How does that work legally though with DC?
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what that kind of like phone call.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like the Marvel phoning DC? Hello. Yes.
So we gotta clear this.
Yeah. Can we mention Superman in your movie?
Why would you?
And they were like, yeah, it's probably the most popular movie Superman's been mentioned in, including ours. Good luck.
Here's a genuine mistake.
I don't.
This is a genuine
I
mistake.
disagree with most of them so far, but carry on.
They say they've been around for 7,000 years at 500 BCE and 2020 at the same time, at two different scenes. And that's 2,500 years apart, so that's a big fuck up.
Okay.
This gets a bit confusing, but it confused me, so I had to write it down.
Okay.
Sprite says to Icarus that Cersei is addicted to her phone.
Yes.
Later, Cersei says to Sprite, I told you those things were addictive.
Yeah.
But she wasn't the person who said that. It was Sprite, not Cersei.
Why can't Cersei? Because Cersei and Sprite hang out quite a lot.
Yeah.
Can't she just at some point be like,
Say it back.
I'm really addicted to my phone.
Say it back to her, because she says that it's addictive, and then she says it back.
I would be on my phone
Yeah.
and I'd be like, God, man, these new technology is amazing. It's so addictive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you would go tell, I don't know, my wife.
Yeah.
And then my wife would be like, oh yeah, Dan says Rick's addicted to his phone.
And then you say it back to me.
Well, I already had said it to you.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just a fucking mess,
It's
man.
not a mess.
It's a fucking
not a
mess.
I can tell you I'm addicted to Candy Crush.
Yeah.
And you can go tell the world that I'm addicted to Candy Crush.
Yeah.
And then I can still go to you later and be like, you know, you're playing Candy Crush. Told you that was addictive. Doesn't matter who you've told that to. It's just an idea that people like talk outside of the what's going on screen.
It's like
It's just,
this is so bullshit.
it's not
It's
bullshit.
the biggest bullshit I've ever
It's
seen.
not bullshit. She could just be addicted to something and tell someone like, "Oh, this is really addictive. This is."
What she should have said, yeah, I know. I told you that 5 days ago. Next one is okay. Athena says that everyone dies on previous planets, including her and the Eternals. But 2 minutes later, Cersei says everyone dies except us. And they keep going back and forth. That's not just these two.
Yeah, I get that.
It was confusing. I mean, I guess if I want to give it some credit, it might mean that maybe technically their bodies don't die and the memories are stored with that celestial. Maybe that's what she means.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got.
But it's just confusing information.
Yeah, it needs to be black or white, one or the other.
Yeah. I wrote down, of course there are llamas in this movie. Worst animal, worst movie. It was a sign. I fucking hate llamas. Llamas can fucking die.
Your gripe is that there's llamas in the
That's the main issue. No, it's just a bad omen. It's just of course the worst. Is there an animal you don't like particularly?
I've never seen one or been near one, but I can't imagine I'd get on too well with a skunk.
So imagine a skunk shows up in Suspiria as like a bad omen. It's like fuck llamas. Is that a script weirdness you might be able to explain to me
Go on.
or justify with your bullshit?
Yeah, explain with my logic.
Explain with your bullshit. So they are having an end battle, Icarus and the rest of Eternals.
Yep.
And then
Athena wanders off.
a spooky shows up, the one that has
The
intelligence,
sentient spooky.
a sentient spooky, and punches Icarus. The first thing it does, and then Athena says, "Why are you helping Icarus?"
I don't remember any of that.
That's exactly how it happens. No time delay. There's no minutes go by. It's fucking weird. Spooky comes out, punches Icarus. There's like a little stop. Why are you helping Icarus?
Don't remember it.
That's just a genuine mistake. Okay. A biggest nitpicky thing in this world, right?
Go on.
You think that, Bollywood was nitpicky?
Yeah, that is genuinely number one of the most nitpicky things that has ever been recorded. on
You're
this
gonna
podcast.
regret saying that
No, I
in
don't
2
think so.
seconds. So, Babylon, large section of this movie takes place in Babylon. It was too blue. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right. That is now number one.
yeah, I told you.
It's too blue.
Yeah, what I mean by that, there's a real thing called the Ishtar Gate, which is a Babylonian gate. It's blue gate. It was like made with blue tiles. And then this movie extrapolated that as a whole castle is blue. Everything's fucking blue.
Okay.
Blue dye was extremely hard to come by. I did a deep dive on this after I watched this movie. And what scientists speculated, it was just the gate that was blue. And there's no fucking way that everything was blue in the fucking castle.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm putting Bollywood back to number one because at least you've got like some logic and reasoning for that.
Yeah. There's a thing called Egyptian blue. Egyptians kind of mastered how to do blue, but that was after Babylonians.
Mhm.
So that's how you know that blue was hard to come by. I wrote down the third act starts in the last hour, and that is just awful. Should be half hour. Well, your third act, like in an action movie kind of thing. It's just dragged out too long.
Yeah, this film was way too long.
Yeah, I felt it. Often repeated phrases. Again, that should have been changed. So we're robots, huh? So we're not real, huh? We're robots, huh? Like many people say that because as they gather up all the Eternals,
Yep.
and the explanation doesn't happen again, thankfully. But they're just reacting to the robot thing, and everyone says the same thing, and everyone has the weird nonchalant answer. Oh yeah, so we're robots now, huh? And his whole life was a lie, huh? Oh great, thank you. And then another repeated phrase was, "Come on, you know who you are." They say that like 5 times in the movie to different characters, repeated over and over again. I think I might have gone over everything. Whoa. Fuck this movie. Fuck it.
Tears up his notes angrily. Throws them across the room.
Yeah. Fuck this movie.
Like I said, this film's okay.
No.
It raises a lot of very interesting questions. It doesn't do it in the best way. It's not really the place to do it either. Your Marvel films, although I find it interesting that, you know, the guy refrains from fighting, and the best Marvel films are the simplistic ones. As much as it might have sounded earlier that I was like raging on Civil War, that's one of the best Marvel films there is, man.
Yeah.
It's good because it doesn't stop to ask them questions.
I have no words. It's just such a mess. Desperately needed a second draft, because there's definitely no second draft.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's gone through too many drafts, and what you've ended up with is a bit of a mess of everything.
Okay.
Someone's tried to make like an indie type film where you do question everything, and then bit by bit they're like, no, you need more action, no, you need more comedy, no, you need more of this, and it's just become a mess of all of those things. And by trying to be all of those things, it's none of those things.
Oh no, man. I'm exhausted.
Because it's just talking about it.
Yeah, I had these thoughts in my head for ages and ages. I knew you were gonna argue with me as well, and I still wasn't prepared.
And this is quite a nitpicky thing. When Sprite stabs Cersei at the end, and then after that, her character does not have a hole in it.
She heals herself up because she has enhanced powers.
But does she?
Yeah.
But she heals her costume?
I guess if she can manipulate everything now,
Yeah, I suppose,
why
yeah.
not? Why not go out with fashion? I'm not gonna save the world in this fucking rag, bitch.
I ain't no basic bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a few seconds to heal my clothes as well, and do a selfie.
Cool.
Is it cool?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was. Let's be very clear. I would not recommend this film
Yeah,
to anyone. There is no one I would recommend this film to.
yeah.
But I wouldn't even say I enjoyed it. But it raises some interesting questions that most Marvel films shy away from, and for that I respect it.
My last word on this: I'm shocked that a major studio released this as a movie.
Thank you, Adam. Was it
Thank you.
for recommending it?
Hey, finally I can add to my. Like you, I can add to my worst films list.
Wow, I gotta write my worst films list down because I keep forgetting them.
Yeah, we gotta memorize it and frame it. And,
Yeah, put up a little board somewhere.
yeah, it has to be a live board because there's gonna be more coming up. What are we gonna do next?
Good question.
You got me started on something.
Yeah.
I started to write down tropes that I don't like.
Oh yeah.
I started doing that.
Yeah.
If you wanna do that.
Absolutely.
Tropes we don't like. I got a lot of fun ones. Some that don't even exist anymore, but it's just like a time capsule thing.
Okay, I've got some that we've already mentioned in this episode.
Being shit. That's a trope.
Thank you for listening
Thank you.
to Dan's Torture.
Yeah, and if you want to listen to more torture, go to patreon.com/IHateYourMovie. Listen to the Sausage Party episode if you want us to agree on something for once about hating something. Bye.
Peace.
Spookies. 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 Spookies.
Spookies.
Spookies. Spookies.
Spookies.
Spookies.
Spookies.
Spookies. Spookies